Right. Let's wait for it. Got to get some chimes, then a purr, and then a Bella. Hey, everybody, Shane here with DailyAstroCat.com. Welcome to the top 5 weekly astrology events, astrological events for November 18th. That's the week number 47. All right. Now, I had some mess ups here. Got my altar here, got a yellow candle going, trying to get my Mercury clear. It's not working, okay? It's just not. We've got retrograde approaching. We're going to talk a little bit about that. There's my station, and here we go. We got a Mercury opposite in Jupiter. Do you see Jupiter there? No, you don't. You know why? Because can't get it to download on the computer, don't know what's going on, don't really have time to do it. This is just a precautionary tale for Mercury retrograde that's coming. It's going to be coming towards the end of the month, okay? The end of November. So get ready for it. Fasten your seatbelts. It's coming right on time for our Black Friday, right? You got to get your stuff done early. That's all there is to it. I don't know how else I can tell you. So let's talk about this for a little bit, because we have a major benefic Jupiter opposing Mercury in Sagittarius. Jupiter happens to be in Gemini. Now, the moon just passed over that point, so we've got some good energy going as far as expansive and wanting to do a lot of things and wanting to try to do a lot of things well. Mercury sitting in Sagittarius wants to expand our minds, expand our reach, expand everything that we've got, because that's where Jupiter is. This position where Mercury is in Jupiter's house of Sagittarius, Jupiter's place of Sagittarius, and where Jupiter is in Mercury's place in Gemini is called mutual reception. Now, this mutual reception, these strengthen each other. Even though it's an opposition, it strengthens, right? Now, even the opposition isn't going to really be much of an opposition, because really we're working towards the same thing. We're trying to expand. We're trying to go where our knowledge is. Now, what's the danger here? The danger is that we try to expand too fast and go outside of what we're capable of doing. Jupiter doesn't care about that, and neither does Mercury, for that matter. Mercury just wants to go. It's that exploration. Mercury can go places where other planets cannot go. In mythology, remember, Mercury is able to pass into the underworld and remain unchanged, right? So that's an interesting point. Now, what we got going on here, this is causing us to really want to reach out and try to get more done, even if we have to force it, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, right? Now, we also have a moon square to Neptune that's going to occur just a little bit later on in the morning, during the day, because you can see that this is at, oh dear, this is, oh, I can't see. Oh, okay. Never mind. This is it. Oh, this is it. Let's go. Doop, doop, doop. Why aren't you working the way you're supposed to? Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 3:35 in the morning. So a little bit later on, that's where it starts to come in. Oh my goodness. Talk about technical glitches, right? Keep going, right? The Mercury stuff. That's what technology is. Short-term travel. Yeah, that stuff. All right. We also have a moon opposition Venus. Now, once again, we've got a benefic, which is Venus, opposing the moon. Now, this is right towards the evening. This is going to be a cause of stress towards the evening, okay? And a little bit of domestic bliss, upset the apple cart. Don't know quite why, but there's things that we need to be doing, and there's things that we need to be doing to secure our home. They can both work together, and they do work together. You have to be able to see them working together. They don't feel like they work together, but they do, okay? That side hustly stuff, that things that you're trying to gather to you, is just as important as the other things that you need to be focusing on and doing, all right? It's just, that's the way it's got to be. You got to put the right amount of work in. There's Saturn lurking in the wings right up there. Look at that, right there. It's right at that midpoint. It would be the most exalted planet if this were an electional chart, deciding what we were doing. If we were going to do something right when this opposition was perfect, that's where we would be. All right, that's where it would be. This is telling us something. It's telling us, hey, slow down. You can do this. Do the work. Put the work in. You got to do the work. All right. Now that opposition, the square that we had between Neptune And the moon, that's still there, okay? The moon's kind of gone just a little bit beyond it now. But that actually triggers a point for us to be able to work on some creative stuff and do it in a way that's going to be affirming what this whole chart is saying right here. This balancing out the home and what we desire to attract to us, how we desire to attract it to us, what we want to do. Now, what do we want? What do we really want? Well, that's Mercury and Jupiter setting up the opposition, saying, hey, look, we've got this going on. Now, if you look carefully, you can also see that that we've got this kind of like protective little line going through here. This is a cradle that goes from the sun all the way to Uranus, okay? And it's going to encompass Neptune and Pluto. So there's some changes that are happening that we need to insulate ourselves from, right? The generational changes, they're going to be there for us. We're going to see them. What's opposing these things right now? Well, right now we've got Mars opposing it. So there's direct action that we're going to be able to take that's going to affect how we deflect this stuff from affecting us. There's also what we desire that's the dark moon Lilith that we need to just get a hold of, get control of, and put ourselves in a place where we can help each other out, for crying out loud. Let's do this, okay? We can do this all together. We just need to really focus. Now, those oppositions, as you can see, they're not always bad. It's not like, oh my goodness, it's a square. The energy is like conflicting. No, it's a tug. It's kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It depends on who's pulling and what direction they're pulling in. Maybe it strengthens the whole thing. You know, you have to pull taffy. You have to work bread dough, right? That's how we get things moving. Now, I gave you that square because it was based on an opportunity period and Llewellyn's daily planetary guide. We used those loosely, okay? The late astrologer, Jim Shavwin, he originated the system, and he called it opportunity periods, and he did it throughout Llewellyn's, the Llewellyn planetary guides. Now, Paula Bellarmine, she continues this tradition according to his tenets. Jim, unfortunately, died in 2019, but they still continue with the opportunity system, the opportunity period system in those books. Now, we don't always refer to them, but sometimes we do. Now, Neptune, the Mercury Neptune thing, that thing, that's not a thing. It's Mercury Jupiter, and it's not like that, okay? So we can take that off of there. You can ignore that because we don't have Mercury Neptune opposite anything. Neptune sees everything that's out there, and what we really want to do is we want to focus on what it is that we can do with this period here. Now, we've got a Sun trine Neptune. Now, this is something where Mercury Neptune would be like, oh, I don't see anything because Mercury is your senses. Sun, Neptune, we know what the deal is. We know that those bones are sticking up in the graveyard, okay? We know that the skeletons are out of the closets and everything. We can see this, all right? This also happens on the 18th. 18th is a busy day because we have all of these things that are occurring and we're able to see everything that we need to be doing, okay? We've got this period where we can create and we can do whatever it is that we need to be able to do. We just have to put our minds to it that we can do it. We still have the sun in Scorpio, so that is that powerful mental energy. Come on, just put it forward. You can do this. You can do it because you just have to put yourself out there and do it and make sure that when you're doing it, that it's just going to be the right thing for everyone, okay? You don't have to keep it secret. You got to put it out there. Jupiter and Mercury, that's just calling for us to be able to throw it out there, right? Throw it out there, throw it out there. Mars opposing Pluto. Do it, okay? Just do it. Do it. It's already been done. The die, like they say, the die is cast, right? No, just do it. All right. Okay, we got a second aspect here. What is this? What was I thinking of? Okay, this is the 19th. I don't know what I'm thinking of here. I've got Mercury and Chiron. Okay, we've got Mercury Chiron in a little bit of a trine there. Your level of activity helps your level, physical activity helps mental activity. Knowing how to help others is how we need to go about doing all of this. We can start by doing the things that we need to do to help each other, to help others. That's a good starting point. That's what this is good for. This is a good point because this is going to go that same thing, the same thing. We're going to be revisiting this 2 more times, okay? Just pay attention to these Mercury aspects because, Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, perhaps Uranus, Mercury, Chiron, Mercury, Neptune. We're probably looking at revisiting some of these things once and twice, okay? So it's a great creative period, but it's also a period where we don't want to go too far in advance because we're starting to come into that conservative time of the year where we conserve energy, right? That's what winter is about in the Northern Hemisphere. We try to conserve things and make it through. Now, trines, let's talk about the trine because the trine there is important, but they're largely missed opportunities. That's because it's so comfortable. The energy flows so effortlessly, okay, that you don't notice the trines. They don't really call you to action. Sextiles, when they appear in our charts, they call you to more actions, right? They're calling out to you and they demand a little bit of action to make the things. They spark more questions and generally they produce a better result because a trine is just such an easy energy that you could fall into it and you could just not notice it, right? This video right here is an unconscious result of an opportunity period, the full moon in Taurus, and look, it's just an opportunity for us to really do this, right? It's the unconscious result of these things, okay? The opportunity period and the full moon in Taurus. A second video that I'm going to be posting is the result of a Sun-Uranus opposition, all right? So now here we go. This is great, right? AI, love it. Age of Aquarius, almost fits, but where's the G? We just don't know, right? This is what AI is good for, and there's no U after Aquarius, so it's like Age of Aquarius. What? The AE of Aquarius. Oh, right. So let's go. Let's do this. I just kept it there to show you how ridiculous AI is and can be, because it's just kind of funny, right? It produces an image, and the image is like, oh, yeah, that's an all right image, but then there's details in it that are just like, that's off. So here we go. We got Pluto entering, and it does so on the 19th. So the 19th, just do your math, do your days, do everything, right? And, that's happening very soon, right? Got Pluto entering Aquarius. This is for keeps, right? It's not going to go back. It's not going to retrograde back. It's entering Aquarius now for 20 years. Okay, so is that Age of Aquarius stuff? Who knows? Could be, right? We're close enough to it. That actually is a processional cycle. It's a much bigger thing than what we know. But we have Pluto entering Aquarius, and we have Mars and Leo opposing it. We're going to go back and forth, right? We're going to go back and forth. The pendulum swings. It's going to go back and forth and back and forth. Mars is going to go retrograde very soon. So not only do we have Mercury going retrograde, but we have Mars going retrograde. We're going to have Neptune turning direct, which means the fog returns, right? We're no longer seeing clearly. We're going to be seeing things foggily. We're going to be seeing things, feeling our way along, so to speak. It's not going to be quite so clear as what we need to do, but it's going to be up to us to really just work beyond what the limitations that Neptune can throw in our way and just bring about what Neptune can really drive, which is deeper creativity, deeper understanding of things that are unseen, right? That's what we're going to be heading towards. I think that's a very admirable goal. Pluto, when Pluto goes into this, Aquarius is a sign that is the grand we, right? The air signs all operate on a different level. We know that Gemini is a personal sign, right? It's how our mind is operating. It's how it's discerning the world. It's how we perceiving the world. That's where Mercury really gets into our senses, and that's how we experience everything personally. Now, when you get into Libra, the idea is that is about partnerships, right? That's about contracts. That's about our relationships, our marriages and stuff. And then as we get into Aquarius, that becomes our relationship to society in general, a grander kind of societal thing. And what we'll find that there's a focus on changing the structures of what that society definitely is and how it can be enhanced. And it will be better because Aquarius is an innovative sign. It's jointly ruled by Saturn. and it's jointly ruled by Uranus. Now, with Saturn and Uranus, Saturn is going to be changing signs very quickly. And so we're going to see the end of the transit of Saturn in Pisces, and we'll be entering Aries. And once we see that entering Aries, we're going to see it will enter Aries holding hands with Neptune. And this is going to be a very, very interesting change, an interesting period. I believe that occurs in early 2026. So fasten, just stay tuned. Stay tuned to dailyastrocat.com, because this is the things you're watching. This is the things we're watching. This is what we want to notice and bring to your attention. The other thing you will notice and bring to your attention is that there's that Sun-Neptune trine that's just enhancing that creativity. And then we've got this whole bippity-boppity-boo thing that the cradle's going through from the Sun to Uranus and to Neptune and to Pluto. Just everything all together is just speaking to each other. They're all talking. They're all going right along. There's energies that are helping each other along the way as we move through this uncertain time. Now, the Sun enters Sagittarius. More AI for you, right? I liked all four of these. They're not, one of them's the same. They're all different, and they're all probably wrong in certain ways, too. You could probably really nitpick them and find the incorrect thing, like the double horns on the one down in the right-hand corner. Since when does Sagittarius have ram's horns? I have no idea, or goat horns, or whatever those are. All right. And here's where I'd start talking about what this cradle actually is, and the relationship of Mars to Pluto and also to the Sun. Okay, because we can see where the Mars and the Sun have a relationship, but their relationship is trine. Okay, so this is a strong relationship. This cements that whole cradle. Even though Mars and Pluto are opposing each other, the force is really working towards making this a time where we can settle into some of this creative output, because we have Neptune over here. Now, if we were to look at it like realistically, we have a kind of a kite configuration going on with Pluto. So the change is where we really want to focus on and to be heading towards, right? So we want to just make sure that we're changing, we're doing those changes the right way, and we're being, very careful about what it is we're bringing to the table, what we're putting out there, because that's really that Mars is in a very creative place in Leo. So we have to make sure that what we're producing is what represents the true self, the true us, which is us in Scorpio right now. We're just like, yeah, we're doing this right. So Venus sextile Saturn, this is another interesting one, right? Because now we've got a benefic and a malefic, which they're considered. I don't really consider them to be particularly good or bad. And once again, we're looking at how this is going to affect perhaps some of the stuff that's going on. With Venus having a relationship with Saturn, that gives Pluto a little bit of extra, what are we doing here? A little bit of soul searching, right? We've got that Saturn in Pisces looking for the higher dimension, looking for the higher realm, looking for how we can express ourselves better, how we can create art that exalts the spirituality that's deep within all of us. And this is where we're going with this particular configuration here. Venus in Capricorn is just kind of like, hey, Saturn, let's move this along. Now, believe it or not, we have Venus in Capricorn is actually informing Uranus, which is making Uranus a little bit more on the Saturnian side, right? Just a little bit more innovation, but careful innovation in a way that's going to be financially viable. How's that? It's going to bring us some things. It's going to attract some wealth to us. If you're involved in the cryptosphere, you will notice that there's been some very positive developments along those lines. And we have currencies that are all trending upward, beginning with Bitcoin and going all the way. Okay, so now, look, here we come to the end. We're to the end of it. It's a busy week. There's a lot of stuff that's concentrated in the beginning. We just have to make sure we're taking our time and representing ourselves truly. What I want to remind you of is to make sure you make AstroCat part of your daily routine. The daily is pretty pretty powerful and impactful. The podcast is available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Some folks get it from Apple. It is on Spotify. It's on YouTube. Also, it's available through our website at dailyastrocat.com. Now, so make sure if you go there, make sure you're subscribing and clicking to receive notifications. It helps us out in ways that you just can't imagine, okay? We need the help. We need some help. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Happy astrocatting.